This is the Life by Design with Angela Weiss podcast, episode 44, The Letter, Emma's life, her legacy, and the healing she still leads me through. Welcome back to the podcast. I've been away for a couple of weeks, minus 2 Sundays, where I was on a cross-country road trip, 10 states, 2 countries, 5,000 miles, 85 hours in the car, solo. It was beautiful, wonderful, and exhausting altogether. I always take off time in June around the anniversary of my daughter Emma's death. For those of you who don't know, Emma was killed in a car accident when she was 17 years old. And that was June 16th, 2021. So I take off that week because I don't feel like I have the emotional capacity to show up for my patients the way that they deserve for me to show up. But also I want to honor my own grief during that time and just take time to get away, be in nature, just decompress as much as I can, and remember her. And then after that, I'll come back to work, but then I take off June 23rd, which is what today is, because June 23rd is the day we buried Emma. And, excuse me, while I take a drink of water. So I've been putting off doing this podcast all day because it's hard. And I could do it on something else, but I wouldn't show up with the energy that I need to for anything else. And it wouldn't make sense. It makes sense to not have the energy for this one because of what it's about, and I can share that with you and hopefully help other people on their grief journey as well. Because grief is heavy, and grief is hard, and grief is difficult, and grief is painful, and it takes so much energy to grieve someone that you love, to grieve a loss that doesn't make any sense. So, my daughter Emma was killed in a car accident, like I said, and it was devastating. I drove up and found her in the car accident, and it's something that I can never unsee. Maybe you've heard about how traumatic things get stored in the body. I find it very interesting how that happens, because for each one of my family members, for each one of my children and Emma's dad and me, we all found ourselves feeling different kinds of issues on the day of her death. Physical issues. And I usually get a GI bleed, an internal gastrointestinal bleed around the anniversary of her death each year. And I just really didn't think that I would this year. I thought that I was doing much better in handling my grief. And then 3 weeks ago it happened. The day of her death, I was driving through Montana trying to get home from this trip. TMI, but I'm a nurse practitioner. We talk about everything. There's really nothing off limits. I woke up with diarrhea, which was great. Not really for my drive. I had a lot of stops. Today was harder. Today was harder because, June 16th is the last time I saw her alive. But June 23rd is the last day I saw her before they closed that casket and then put her in the ground. And I woke up so tearful. I haven't slept well in 3 weeks. Waking up with terrible headaches every night. In the middle of the night, my blood pressure has been pretty high, and I haven't had issues with my blood pressure in quite some time until now. And I know it's from this, and it's so interesting to me because I'm going along and I'm doing life in a good way. I don't feel overly stressed by anything, but our bodies recognize when anniversaries are coming up and the intensity bubbles up on the inside. So I say that because if you're going through an anniversary of a grief event, of a loss, and you're wondering, what's wrong with me? Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. It doesn't matter. It can come up anytime. So today, excuse me, I tried to plan some things a little bit differently than I normally have, so that I wouldn't be so stuck in the sadness of it all. I started my day with prayer, and I turned on some worship music and had a really good cry, and had planned to go and get my hair done, which I did, and have a photo shoot, which had gotten postponed last minute. So that's fine, actually, because whenever things like that happen, I don't get upset. I just look at it like, now isn't the time for whatever reason. Maybe for me, maybe for them, but now isn't the time, and that's okay. I would try to go to the cemetery, and I am not the kind of person that visits the cemetery often. It's a lot for me. I couldn't find the road. And the closer I got to the cemetery, I started feeling very sick. So instead, I stopped by to see my older daughter, gave her a hug, and then I came home and I took a nap. I woke up and tried to go to the gym. I got halfway there and I started feeling very sick. Not sick like from some sort of virus or food that I'd eaten, because I hadn't eaten. And that's not why I was feeling sick. It was just sick from the stress my body was feeling from the memories of that day 5 years ago. So I just turned around and came home, and I took another nap. And now here I am. Not that you need to know the details of my day, but I share those with you because, again, if you're going through a grief event and you're ever wondering, well, why am I feeling this way? Well, that's normal, and there's nothing wrong with you. That's just how the body responds. And it's okay to rest. And it's okay to skip the cemetery. And it's okay to skip the gym. And it's okay to skip time with other people. It's okay to do whatever you need to do to get through it. My Emma was such a sweet girl. She was so vibrant and so full of life and so kind and so loving and boisterous and big personality and just sincere, compassionate, and just all the good things that you could think of. I'm not saying she didn't have an honorary side, especially with her sisters. She did. But she was a really good kid, a really good young woman. She was a runner. She was a piano player. She was a friend to all. She loved to read. She loved animals. She loved making jewelry. She loved her family fiercely. Oh, do you hear somebody sawing in the background? Please excuse that. There's no There's no quiet, whether indoors or outdoors, it seems. Well, Emma lived a great, big, beautiful, wonderful, amazing, short 17-year life. And she left behind a lot of sadness and a lot of good memories. I wrote a book for my healing journey to help other parents who lost a child. And it's available on Amazon. It's called The Letter. It's a letter that it's an exercise that I gave myself to help with my healing journey, because 3 years into it, I didn't feel like things were getting any better with me. I felt like they were starting to get worse. And so the idea was that I imagined that if Emma from heaven could see the unraveling of her mother down here in the world, would write me a letter that started on the day of her death, the morning before she got in the car and drove away. I hear now they are cutting grass, and I'm going to go back through and listen and see how terrible this is. And if it's not completely terrible, I won't be recording this again. So I apologize. Life happens, doesn't it? It just happens. It sounds like 10 lawnmowers out there, actually. Emma would be laughing, really, right now at this whole ordeal, at this whole day. But I gave myself this exercise, and I wrote myself a letter from Emma from heaven. Telling me all the beautiful and wonderful things. I'm recording this from my phone, so for those of you watching it, this just got real up close and personal, because there literally are 3 people who've come to my house to cut the grass. They don't usually cut the grass on Tuesday. So, my apologies. It's reality, isn't it? So, I wrote the letter to myself as if Emma had started writing the letter from the morning she died, her drive upon the way, and all the things, and then seeing how I had fallen so completely apart over the next 3 years, what it may look like in heaven, what it may feel like there, how it would be to be with her Mima and her Oma and Opa and Jesus and her 2 brothers that I miscarried as well, and the beauty of heaven. And how, if she had known that June 16th, 2021 was going to be her last day, what she would have done differently to let the people that she loved know that she loved them and to tell them goodbye. And then in the letter I talk about, from Emma's perspective, as if she could see the sadness that she felt because her mother had fallen apart, and her suggesting that I live life a little bit differently and do things differently, and go live and be free and stop living in such sadness and self-destructive behavior that I used to try and numb the pain. And part of the assignment that I gave myself in May of 2024 was that I would have to write a letter in response to Emma with what I had planned to do or what I was doing to get better in my healing journey. It took me 2 years to write that letter. I finished it just a few days before her death anniversary. Excuse me. And self-published that on Amazon. I had no idea when I gave myself the assignment, I had no idea that it would work so well. It blows my mind how well what I told myself to do worked. In the last 2 years, I have worked very hard to return to who I was before Emma died. And that's what a lot of grieving parents refer to. It's the time before their child died and the time after. That's how life is split apart into two different ways. And I just wanted to feel like myself again. I felt so numb for so long. I felt so hollow. I felt like people could see straight through me. I felt so strange and cognitively distorted in the sense that I was forgetting things all the time, losing things all the time, losing my car, my keys, getting lost, forgetting how to do the simplest things. I called it Emma dementia. That's trauma. That's your body protecting you. It's like when the electric goes out at your house, if you have a generator to run things, only the essentials are running in the background. And that's what happens whenever you lose a child. Only the most necessary things are like powered on and doing their job at the capacity that they were, not before, but some things aren't working at the capacity that they were before. I lost myself. I didn't even recognize who I was anymore. I didn't want to live. The pain was so heavy, sitting in my chest, like waves from the ocean just kept knocking me down and I couldn't get up. I didn't know how to carry that. And there was no book that I could find that really explained. There was no manual on how to live without a piece of your own heart, your child. And even though there were people around me that had lost children, I felt so alone. I felt so alone. And that was hard. I felt more alone after she died than I'd ever felt in my life. I felt like I was walking down this road by myself. I questioned God. I stopped living. I was unable to show up for my living children the way that they needed me to. And I feel terrible for that, but I can't go back. They say it's like they lost both their parents and their sister in the same day. Now, today, 2 years later, I'm in the best mental and emotional place that I've ever been in my life. And that's thanks to God and this assignment that I gave myself. Because I made the decision to live. I made the decision to live fully and boldly and beautifully, and to start moving forward with ideas and thoughts and dreams that I'd had for so many years that I'd put on hold. And today I sit in a place where I'm just in awe of how far I came so quickly from not wanting to live at all. I want to give you hope that there is light beyond that dark tunnel. There is a better tomorrow. And sometimes we can't wait for feeling like we want to do something. We just have to get out there and do it. We just have to put one foot in front of the other. We just have to show up for ourselves. We just have to, whatever it is you're doing. For me, what started happening is I started publishing books that I had been writing for many years. I started researching how to have a podcast. And yeah, it's a messy podcast. Like, there's nothing about this podcast that's professional in the sense of the sound or the looks or whatever. And I bought all the equipment that I don't even use for it, right? I just often just use my phone. Why not? It's got a great camera. I joined the gym and told myself, I don't have to go for an hour every day or even 30 minutes. Just show up. Just get into the habit of doing something for myself, for yourself, eating healthier, moving more, working today on creating a better future for, Angie 10 years from now, my finances 10 years from now, my body 10 years from now, my mental health and all of those things, working on the relationships in my life, and just being the best version of myself that I could possibly be, despite immeasurable, painful loss. And man, it's been an amazing ride since I gave myself that assignment. I would encourage you, if there's someone that you've lost, that you love, that you miss, that you want to say something to, write them a letter and tell them how you feel. If you want to do the assignment that I gave myself, write yourself a letter from them, what they see that has happened with you, and then respond with how you're going to work to do better for yourself. When the people that we love leave us, their love stays behind. They live in our hearts. They live in the everyday moments. They're still there. Emma was all things good. And I took the 5,000-mile, 85-hour in the car by myself road trip because she loved road trips. And this one was one we planned to go on the summer she died, minus me having to make a few changes. I learned a lot about myself during that trip. I finished the book and I came back home with a newfound idea of what the next steps for my life look like. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for showing up. If this helped you in any way, please like, follow, share. The book, The Letter, is available on Amazon. And I'll see you Thursday with the Normal Mental Health Podcast. Take care.